Welcome back to another episode of the We Are Change talk show. I thank you for joining me. This episode, we left the confines of the studio and interviewed a man by the name of Vincent, who has been suffering from harassment and police corruption and currently has charges before the courts. So we'll cross to that story now.
So I'm here with Vincent. Tell me, what brings you on the show today?
I've over some time I've experienced a bit of a lot of harassment actually from some members of the Victoria Police, mainly from the Croydon DUI, I think it is, the squad from there. It's been over a 5-year period. With harassment on Facebook. They've deleted my account. They just keep on interfering in my life whichever way that they can, even with employment. Any which way that they can just sort of try and disturb my life, and that they continue to do it. And this is all due to my wife and another girlfriend of mine were obviously approached by the police, and they became informants as such, whatever they decided to tell the police back then, and that they've tried to follow it all up, and ever since then they've just given me a real hard time and that. And this was all due to my wife becoming bitter because I left her, and at the time then after I had a girlfriend which they also enticed into becoming an informant as well. And at the end of the day, I've got nothing to hide, and whatever that they've led them to believe, and that's their side of the story. Mine's totally different to what obviously they've been told.
So you consider yourself a targeted individual, and the police have used several resources to attack you, Facebook and other outlets. So basically your ex-partner released incriminating information on yourself.
That's right.
And that's how it all stemmed.
That's right. Yep. And it's still up until today. It still continues. Even with my employment, I've had a few jobs here and there, and they've gone behind my back to the employers. I don't know exactly what they say to these people and that, but there becomes a bit of a distance between us after they speak to whoever they speak to, and this just continues to happen. And it's been look, at the end of the day, I take everything in my stride. I don't give them reactions like they're looking for and that. And the whole thing is that 5 years that they've been wasting their time following me around, and what ends up happening is they fabricate things, and like I've got to go to court and stuff like that, and then I organise solicitors and stuff like that, and they even go behind my back with solicitors and that, and then they don't want to defend me and that, and I'm in court by myself and that all the time.
So there was false reports that were filed. Now, did this result in you being with a criminal record?
No, put it this way, not as far as the initial part of it gone. Actually, as far as the initial part of it, yeah, that's right. No, that's exactly right. Yep. Yeah.
And that's been your main barrier to seeking gainful employment.
It's been one of the barriers, yeah. But the barrier that they create for me now is that even whenever I do get a job, they go behind my back to whoever I'm employed by and that, and there becomes distance between us because whatever they're telling them is they believe it, and then it just becomes an untenable project because I can't stay there because of the way I end up getting treated and that. So I end up leaving.
It's very vindictive and very callous. So this has been an ongoing issue. Have you sought any forms of mediation or tried to find a resolution to these issues outside of the legal system?
Put it this way, just through solicitors and so forth. But then, I've engaged a couple of solicitors and that, and obviously they don't go through with anything and that, and I'm just left in the lurch all the time. So I've actually tried to write a letter to the Ombudsman as well. But they tend to think that they can't do anything about it. So they haven't been any help whatsoever. I've actually got a couple of letters that I've received back from them and that. And I just can't seem to get get them to do anything about it. I actually at one stage I went to what's that body called? The police investigate themselves.
Internal affairs?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and they did do something about what the initial complaint, and I wanted to speak to the policeman that was looking after it, but I never heard no more about it.
It was not followed up on. So this all came about in 2013. You've had no resolution to these issues. How do you see the future holding for yourself if this is going to continue?
Well, put it this way, they're just trying to disrupt my life and trying to make me as unhappy as I possibly can, but I'm not going to give them that opportunity to do that. Yeah, I'll just continue on going the way I'm going, and but the whole thing is that I definitely want something done about it.
Yes, that's definitely understandable. Now, was there any basis to these allegations? Was there any substantial evidence to support them?
No, it would only be just what they've been told and that. And look, at the end of the day, I haven't got exactly a clean past in that, and I accept that. But I've been trying to get on with my life and do the right thing in life and that. And they just don't give you that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like, they just continue to. Well, what they do is they try to entrap you into going back to your old lifestyle and so forth, which is not what I want.
And what were some of the allegations that were made?
That I was had things to do with manufacturing of amphetamines and stuff like that. Whatever's been in my past and stuff like that is not who I am today. Since back in those days, there, like I've more than covered my ground by I've gone back to school and I've got qualifications in counselling. Also AOD working, and I've done quite a bit of that type of work and that, and I guess to them it just doesn't really matter. Once you're tainted in their view and that, they just continue to treat you as such.
So they were using your background as leverage over yourself and virtually blackmailing you through the legal system.
That's right, yeah, and they continue to do that. I've got some outstanding charges, which, as I've said, as far as I'm concerned, they're just fabricated things that they've come up with, and that just so they can keep me under surveillance and that with whatever they, But over 5 years, you'd think that they'd have something substantial on you, and that if I was doing something wrong, which obviously I'm not doing anything wrong, and they just continue to harass. Like they actually get people which I know. I've either had something to do with mainly females and that, and they get them to come and spend time with me and so forth. And I don't know exactly what they do when they come over to my place or whatever, but they get it. They get them to get information, whatever information they can get, and I don't know what information they can go back with and that, because as I said, there's nothing there for me to be worried about.
Some people in your predicament would look into an apprehended violence order, some form of AVO, to keep these people at bay if they're intruding into your daily life. Has that crossed your mind at all?
Well, I don't know anything about anything like that. They haven't been instructed to do anything like that. And like as I said, like up until just not long ago, I was speaking to a solicitor, and they said that that they'd be able to help me out and that, but that's all come to nothing.
They didn't recommend a restraining order against these people?
No, they haven't. Look, at the end of the day, they end up working with the police.
It's all very shocking circumstances.
Back in 2009, I did a short stint in jail, and that was over the manufacturing of amphetamines, which was for personal use. And since then, it's sort of been a downhill slide as far as the police go. And what had happened was they left a bag of evidence behind, which my wife reported to the solicitor back then, and he advised her to take a photo of it and to get rid of it, and it had glassware and a few other bits and pieces that they'd left behind. Now, obviously she didn't do that. She kept this whatever glassware that was there, and this was found at another raid and what had happened was my thumbprint wasn't on the glass, right? It was on the putty that was on one of the bits of glass. So this is 4 years later, right, at another raid, and I end up getting pinched for exactly the same thing again, right, with my thumbprint on the putty, nothing on the glass.
Like deja vu.
Right? Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and got charged with it again. Yeah.
And how much time did you serve?
On that particular occasion, no, I got a suspended sentence, 5 months suspended sentence over a 2-year period, I think it was.
Mm-hmm. And this is going to carry on permanently on your record, and now they're using your background against you. Do you see any chance of hope in the foreseeable future that you'll be able to break free from this systematic harassment?
Well, not the way it's going at the moment, no. And it doesn't matter. Whatever I try and do on that, they try to counteract it and that's all in order. Because they've got absolutely nothing as far since my wife and this other girl became informants, and they've not managed to get anything. Well, they're not happy with that. That's not my fault. Obviously, they haven't told you the truth about everything, have they?
They're using any form of attack that they can, and a big part of that is using your history against you, and very malicious. Is there anything that you would have done differently, looking back at all of this, Vincent?
Well, done differently, I don't really know that I could have done anything differently. It doesn't matter whatever I've said or whatever I haven't said. I haven't harassed anybody that's given evidence against me or anything like that, because as far as I'm concerned, mate, there's nothing there that's incriminating. As far as I've done nothing wrong since, and I've got no intention of doing anything wrong. But I definitely want to be left alone, though.
Absolutely, and that's a very fair statement. If you could look into the camera and speak to these accusers, what would you say to them?
I'd say to them to actually go and find someone real to go and chase, and to leave me alone, because I don't deserve the treatment that I'm getting from you, that's for sure. And you guys should actually be held accountable for the harassment and all the undue stress and money that you have cost me over all this time.
Well said. And you've made a good choice by coming to We Are Change, presenting your story, exposing the corruption that you're experiencing, because it's not fair, is it, Vincent?
No, it's definitely not. I actually I got a payout. Well, a payout. It wasn't a payout. It was an inheritance when my mother passed away, and at that time there, because I got the place that I was living in, I got thrown out of there by the police, because and it was that place there was specifically for me. Now they got DHS on side, right, and at that time there, like, I was suffering depression and all that sort of stuff, and I ended up getting thrown out of the place, and I'd already had an appointment to see them, to see DHS about this here. And because the police were intercepting my phone calls and stuff like that, they got in touch with DHS and told them not to come, let me go in and go and talk to them.
There was wiretapping taking place as well.
That's right. Yeah, and So, and I've actually got evidence for what I'm saying here. And ever since then, I was trying to find places to live in that, and any place that I did organise to go and live at, they'd make sure that I didn't get the place.
Very sinister the way they've followed you, harassment on many different levels. This should not be taking place. What other options do you see that you can look at to try and overcome this problem and these barriers?
Well, I'm just going to I have been writing a letter that I'm going to lodge with Parliament soon, and I'm going to let them know everything that's happened from day one. And I did actually try and do that with the Minister here in Victoria, and I tried to send an email, which I've still got evidence of that on a USB stick, and I did that from a library. Now, they were following me around that much and keeping tabs on everything that I was doing, that when I was trying to send the complaint into the Minister, I think Noonan, I think his name was, and they wouldn't allow me to send send it from the computer at the library, right? They even had, because they obviously bugging my email address, and they were intercepting the email that I was trying to send. I've still got this on a USB stick as evidence to what I'm talking about.
So they're also monitoring and tracking your daily communications.
That's right. Yeah, in every way that they possibly can.
Very frightening, isn't it?
Yeah, well, they're the sorts of things that they can do to you. Yeah, and it's just not on.
And you've served your prison sentence, your time's finished, you've rehabilitated, you've paid your debt to society, so you shouldn't be further treated like a criminal.
No, that's right. And
You deserve a chance to live a healthy, productive life.
exactly right, without them interfering in it. Exactly.
What would you say to somebody that was put in a similar predicament where they had family or ex-partners trying to attack them and being vindictive? What would you say and suggest to them in your position?
Just to hold your head up high and just don't give in. Don't ever give in, right? But that doesn't mean that you've got to be vindictive yourself, which I haven't been. And all you can do is you just try and do the best that you can with what you've got. And even if it looks like things are not turning out all that good for you and that, you just continue on and just never ever really look back at things. And you don't ever want to be bitter with anybody, which I'm definitely not bitter with anyone. Like I've tried to take no action in any way, shape or form.
You haven't attempted to contact the parties involved directly?
Not at all. My life's going forward. It's not going to go backwards.
Very smart move.
That's what I say to anyone is don't ever allow anyone that wants to put you down, right, to be able to do it, because you're in control. You're in control of your life, right? At the end of the day, there's a lot of dead ends there, but don't worry, the dead ends do open up.
Very good advice, very positive thinking, which is very important in dark times. Have you got stable employment at present?
I did have up until a week ago, and I will have again in a couple of weeks' time.
Well, let's hope that lasts and continues. We wish you the very best, Vincent, bringing your story to We Are Change, and hopefully you get some resolution to your problems.
Thank you very much.
Well, that's about all the time we have for today, folks. Be sure to tune in next week to the We Are Change talk show, where we expose corruption one episode at a time. Are you tired of hearing lies and fake news on mainstream media? Do you find it insulting to your intelligence? Well, look no further. The We Are Change talk show is here. President Trump has launched airstrikes on Syria. A lot of his prominent conservative supporters have turned against him after this action. Have you suffered human rights violations or been a victim of corruption? The We Are Change talk show would like to hear about it. Phone the number on your screen today.
Who the hell is going to listen to a little guy? You guys are, thanks.
Yes, it's what we're here for.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And what I hope is they don't put a mother and a child in the house, because that child will die. And no one seems to believe me.
Once again, much love to everybody at We Are Change, and I look forward to seeing you guys at more events in the future and working more closely with you.
Beautiful. Thank you very much for the call, my friend, and all the best of luck moving into the future.
Much appreciated.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. The legendary Jeff.
Without the instrument of We Are Change, we will not have a future. We will not have a country or world to leave to our children. We won't have children able to function in it. So be a part of it. Join it.
We Are Change Melbourne gives those who mainstream media have ignored a voice, exposing corruption, injustice, human rights issues, and much more. We Are Change Melbourne is the voice of the people.
Yeah, this is Jeff. Met Jeff for the first time I'd met Jeff. He too is a lovely chap, and he has a YouTube channel called We Are Change Melbourne. So if any of these topics pique your interest, pop over to We Are Change Melbourne and say good day to Jeff. You've seen that video that's just going past the interview, Enough is Enough. Watch that one.
Phone the number on your screen and be connected with the We Are Change talk show.